evening. Good evening. We're going to call the meeting to order at 6:30. This is the meeting of August 12th, the CRA board meeting. And tonight we'll begin tonight's meeting with an invocation and pledge of allegiance to the flag, and invocation by board member Mac McCrae. If you please rise.
Turn the volume down.
Let us pray. O most holy and eternal God, Lord, the creator and maker of all mankind. Heavenly Father, we bow this afternoon just to tell you thank you for all of your acts of kindness. Thank you for just being a just God, righteous and a merciful God. But most of all, thank you, Lord, for all the things that you send our way, undeserving as well as deserving. We ask that you take charge of this meeting tonight, lead us in the way that we should go. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have roll call, please. Here.
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 Yes.
Thank you. We'll go for agenda approval. Any additions, deletions, or corrections to the
Mr.
agenda as
Chairman?
presented? Yes.
Legal's next on
Well, it
the.
said nothing. It said didn't have.
I know, and
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
did submit
Okay.
a memo, but I have a correction to make on it.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Okay, I
You're
just
on.
wanted to let you know that the first item in the memo talks about West Construction. It is incorrect. While I was on vacation, I asked my associate who does a lot of the foreclosure matters to provide the legal update. He took a previous memo so that he could just update it. He was not aware of what had happened with the West case, so just completely disregard item number 1, and everything else gives you the status
Okay.
of the other cases.
Thank you. Thank you for the
Okay. I
update.
apologize for
Oh,
that.
no, no problem. Just, I had showed nothing, so that's why. Any other additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda as presented?
I'd like to pull D and E off the consent,
Okay.
my own, and I'd also like to request the next meeting. I've asked it informally, but in a formal manner, when the Boynton Beach CRA sunset takes effect. I have just like to get an idea what year.
Yeah, I
that might
think they
happen.
were researching that,
Yeah.
so we'll find out.
Next
Thank you.
meeting.
At the next meeting, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Anything else? If not, is there a
Motion to approve as amended.
Second.
Most second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, so the motion unanimous.
What's wrong with
Back
these
feet
mics
here
tonight?
Okay, informational items and disclosures by the board members and CRA staff. We'll start with staff. Have anything you need to say?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Okay. We'll come right down the line. The board member Hay.
Just like to report that I did attend on August 2nd the P2P Back to School activity. It was tremendous success. Well, over 1,000 attended that flowed through there, well organized by P2P. Also, on August 6th, I attended a ribbon cutting over at the old-fashioned style Primo Hogan's, and that was well attended, and the food was excellent. My wife and I will be going back.
Very good.
That's it.
Board member Fitzpatrick.
Most of the disclosure I did at the city commission meeting. I'm not sure, but if I did or not, but I met with the developers of the 184 units out by High Ridge Road and Minor Road. I don't remember their names, but that was
I
it.
understand.
I think it's Eastwood.
Eastwood.
Weir, I think his name was Weir or something.
Okay.
Board member Casello.
I also met with the Eastwood Development LLC company about a potential development here in Boynton Beach, and also with the Fitzgerald Group, commercial real estate organization here, looking to do some business here in Boynton Beach.
Board member Merker.
Nothing.
Board member McCrae.
I'm good, thank you.
Board member Buchanan.
I met with the one of the potential developers for Oceans East. Not Renaissance,
Neighborhood Renaissance.
Neighborhood Renaissance, that's it.
Okay,
Mayor,
go ahead.
I would like to disclose that I too met with neighborhood residents.
Board Member Merker?
Can't even say it.
I also did. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I also did as well, but I
Okay.
thought we disclosed last time.
I thought so too, but,
Thank you.
okay, I also met with the developers for the Minor Road and High Ridge, like you spoke, the Eastern or something, and also with the, was it Fitzgerald Group about another project in Boynton. Met with both of those groups. That's all I have. Okay, informational announcements. Anybody got anything they want to announce informational? No? Okay, we'll go then to the
Excuse
consent.
me, will the ministers be doing their back-to-school drive this coming Saturday?
Pardon me?
Will y'all be doing your back-to-school drive at?
Yes, thank you for mentioning
Thank you,
that.
that needs to be mentioned.
That would be another back to school that's on this Saturday, beginning at 11 o'clock at Carolyn Sims. It will be 11 to 4 at
Thank
Carolyn
you.
Sims Center. So those of you who can, just come out and show your face for support. Thank you for reminding me of that. And that's sponsored by the Boynton Beach Coalition of Clergy. It's a new organization of all the clergy in Boynton Beach. They're sponsoring their first back-to-school drive.
Okay, I won't be there because I'll be out of town.
Okay.
Otherwise I would be. Okay.
Maybe some of the others.
That's right. Okay, we'll go to consent agenda. I assume there's no announcements or awards. I
No.
don't think there's none. The first item was pulled was item D, approval of interior build-out grant to Ocean Realty, Inc., Ocean East Entrance Properties, Board Member Casella.
Yeah, we can put D and E together on there, Mr. Chairman. I just a couple of questions. On the backup material I was getting, it says the lease starts at August 1st. Has that been signed? The lease has been signed?
Yes.
No, signed? Okay. And also, the principal owners, I got a little confused. There's two principal owners and then the landlord. Just like who are we giving the grant to?
The landlord has to approve that they're getting the build-out. The landlord has to approve the work. So there's two women who own the company.
Melissa and Barbara Hess?
Right,
Okay.
right.
Okay, that was my question. Thank you.
Mhm.
Motion to approve item D.
I make the motion we approve?
Second?
Most second, all in favor?
Aye.
All. Is there a motion to approve item E that you also pulled?
Make a motion, we approve?
Second?
Most second, any other discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, show the motion unanimous. Takes us to information only, public comment log. I have a question on it. I read all the backup and all of the big complaints were all about the walkway down to the pier through the Marina Village and a lot of trash and stuff out around the entrance of Marina there and stuff. What's being done about that?
We forward that to the city. A lot of that is on, under the city maintenance, the sales on the promenade
Or
walkway.
Moldy? No?
And so we forwarded that to the city because that's under the city's maintenance.
Okay.
Most of that is city. Some of it is private property that we don't really have, some of it is kind of picky-uni, quite frankly, but most of it is lack of maintenance, replanting where plants died, where you can see the irrigation, and so we forwarded that to the city.
Okay, I'll follow up with the city, see what's being done about that, because I think that's important. But the areas that CRA is responsible for, you're on top of that?
Yes, we have you don't see dead plants where we have control, and you're not going to see our irrigation, and you're not going to see that. If there's banners down, we do replace them. We had one on Boynton Beach from when we had the storm. And
There was some complaints about the hoses and dead fish blood and all that around the dive place there. Is that CRA or city?
Well, that will happen sometimes. Then we have a dive. The marina manager, he does stay on top of that. If somebody does not maintain it, he will go over and tell them to. So if the person happened to walk by and see that, and the marina manager didn't happen to go by and see it at that time, but the marina manager's on top of that. It's Mike and I do not see that on a regular basis, I can tell you.
Are we paying anybody to maintain the CRA
Yes.
properties down there?
Yes, we have marina manager, and there's 2 other staff that he employs. That fish cleaning areas, there's 2 or 3 of them, Mike? How many are there?
There are, but the pictures that's shown here is from the CMIS, which is private property.
That's private.
Unfortunately,
That's
there's a lot of mixing of CRA, visually a mix of CRA and city and private owner property. So when someone's coming by and taking pictures and sending these types of things to us, they don't understand that it's a combination of owners. They just see it all as either us or
Right.
the city. So when we got this, we immediately sent it off to Public Works, copied Laurie. They're going to take care of the items that are theirs. The banner that's there obviously is ours. We've addressed that. So of all these, it's really one item was ours, and that was the banner. So I look at it as a friendly notification that the banner was, which they do in the wind, but everything else here is someone else is in the CRA.
But you let the marina manager know that there was concerns also?
Yes,
That'd be
absolutely.
good. Yeah, thank you. Okay, that was my concern.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item B was CRA development project update on the Boynton Harbor Marina. Any questions on that? It's information only, so. Item C is CRA development on the parking lot update. Any questions on that?
I just have a question. It looks like the work progress over there is completely stopped, and this is a problem unless they moved it today. As of yesterday, we had a pile of debris out there in the middle of the lot, which is totally unacceptable. We talk about trash along some of the CRA's corridors, and we complain about it, but here we are generating a pile over there, which just looks horrendous.
Well,
sir.
yes, that is true. We did call the contractor, was it today?
Yes, yesterday. And asked
Yesterday.
for an update as to why that was there. And they said that they are waiting for a larger pile, like a full load, but I said it's not acceptable. They've been doing, other than that, they've been doing a very good job. Last week they did the installation of the irrigation. Today they were pulling the electric for the light poles. Unfortunately, it is a slower visual process than, let's say, the Harbor Master building. I have asked them, for schedule updates when I see these gaps. There are things that are happening underground that we don't see, that we will see. Plants going in, they have to have a FP&L meter in order to turn on the irrigation that would accommodate the plants and FP&L and the coordination of that, the drilling for the pump, the drilling of the well. These kinds of things are in the works, but unfortunately, when we see those gaps, and especially as visible as the project is, I've reminded them many times that unfortunately the project is at the foot of the front door of City Hall, and it's an extremely heavily traveled area by commissioners and city managers and building officials. So that's primarily been my criticism at this point, is that pile. I sent them pictures, and I said that we need to get this addressed as quickly as we can.
Would having like a dumpster there, would that help this issue?
Well,
Just-
yes, sir. They should either be hauling away that trash as it's developed, or I believe the city generally requires a dumpster. I'm not sure how much debris or what the qualifications to
Is
get
it,
that, but yes.
Is it trash or is it dirt for the construction?
It's site debris. It's
Maybe they could
it's
maybe they could at least cover it with a tarp or something.
I agree. Yes, sir. I have
Put a tarp over it so
requested
it
that a
won't blow
couple.
away
Yeah,
and stuff.
I'm staying on that though.
Thank you.
We'll get
Thank
that.
you, Michael.
Yeah, you bet.
Mike, before you leave, the next time there is a gap, can you notify the board of what's going on?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to public comments now. Anybody in the public wishes to address the board on items not on the agenda may do so at this time. We ask that you give your name and address for the record and try to limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Annette Gray, and hopefully if you don't remember the name, you still recognize the face. I've been part of the Boynton Beach community in the past as CRA staff, as consultant, and have developed a series of community programs. I'm just here to tell you that I'm back. Uh-oh. And with me, I've brought a global family of businesses, 3 companies that I own. Global Business Development Center is the umbrella company, and under that, a newly formed nonprofit, which is the Global Entrepreneurship Institute, and Global Real Estate Collaborative. My new address is 3200 South Congress Avenue, Suite 104. I am not in the CRA district, unfortunately. I would have loved to have put this marketing and business development incubator in the CRA, but you know what your space capacity is like. But in that, I am actually developing a mobile entrepreneurship training bus with computers that I will be able to take to different community churches and schools. So I just wanted to let you know that you now have this resource within your city limits, and looking forward to working with staff again and the board again.
Mention our space capacity. What did you
Right.
mean by that?
Oh, your retail space to house something similar. Trust me, I looked really hard as a commercial realtor. Your size, your depth of space, and, you know, that type of thing. But hopefully that's something that we'll be able to get resolved shortly.
I hope we get it resolved shortly because I kind of took offense to it. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it wasn't meant to be offensive
kinda-
at all.
That means there just isn't any.
No, not at all. I'm here for the long haul. I signed a very long lease.
Okay.
With all those empty spaces, sorry we couldn't accommodate you in any of those.
No, it wasn't completely on your behalf. It's, you know, a lot of small businesses have budgets and, you know, that type of thing. And the size in terms of capacity, you have a lot of bigger spaces that would be a good fit for some retail businesses. Just not mine. No need. I was not intended to be offensive in any way.
Oh, okay. I understand.
All
Well,
right.
thank you. Welcome.
Excellent. Thank you. Good
wish
to
you
see you all
best.
again. Take care.
Thank you. Welcome aboard.
Thanks for that.
Anyone else wish to address the board on items not on the agenda? Seeing none, we will close the public comments and go to public hearing. Old business. First item is report by Lyman Reynolds on the status of the Lisa Bright and CRA case.
Mr. Reynolds' father passed away over the weekend, so he updated Mr. Spilius on the status. So.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I did speak with Lyman yesterday. I'm not exactly sure what the last update was and where you all were. So basically, Ms. Bright's case against the CRA was dismissed on summary judgment. She appealed to the 4th District Court of Appeal. The 4th District denied the appeal, dismissed the appeal. She then, with new counsel, some of you may know that her prior counsel was caught up in the Rothstein
Right.
matter and has been disbarred. So her new counsel filed a motion with the trial judge, asking the trial judge to enter a final judgment on the original case. His argument was that the judge's summary judgment order was not a final judgment. He was doing that in order to try to get a second bite at the apple on appeal. The judge denied it. Once again, it was appealed to the no, I take it back. That decision was not appealed. So the time for appeal has passed. Therefore, the case against the CRA is over. Ms. Bright's case against the CRA has been dismissed and with finality. Now, there was a request made of Mr. Reynolds to disclose the attorney-client sessions that were held with the board on the argument that the case was over. He denied that request on the grounds that Ms. Bright still has a lawsuit against the city and so Mr. Rodriguez, or at least against the city, on related issues. And there is case law that indicates that in that situation, the records of the closed sessions remain sealed until that litigation is finally complete as well. So at this point, wearing your hats as CRA board members, you don't need to worry about any more of that lawsuit. You can just deal with it wearing your hats as
City.
commissioners.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for the update. Appreciate it. Okay, the next item is consideration of action on the RFQ for the Ocean Breeze East site.
Thank you, Chair. Due to ambiguity and the RFP language, right now the board has a decision to make of how they want to handle moving forward. And I'm going to let Ken provide some direction for you on that. And basically, my read of it, my literal read of it, I felt it did not mention the board members, and some of you did speak to one of the proposers, to my knowledge. And so I'm going to let Ken speak to you, give you some ideas of how to move forward.
This matter was brought to me after it was, I guess, Vivian was asked by board members whether or not, under the RFP rules, they could speak to the proposers. And I think one may have already spoken to one of the proposers at that time. I reviewed the request for proposals. There is a provision in there that is what is known as a cone of silence that you've probably dealt with before, but on RFPs and the like, up to a certain point, proposers are not permitted to make contact with staff members except as specifically set forth in the proposal, in the RFP, or with board members. In the literal reading of the language, when I looked at it, I could see how it could be viewed as precluding contact only up to the point when the proposals themselves were submitted to the board. A layman's reading of that would not be entirely unreasonable. However, cones of silence, the general reason for them is after the proposals are in, to prevent contact with the ultimate decision makers for a variety of reasons. Sometimes the decision makers don't want to be barraged by people calling and talking to them. Sometimes decision makers feel that they should just go by what's the documentation and the recommendations of the review committee and the presentations that are made. There are a variety of reasons. Some boards want cones of silence, others don't. So my initial reading was this looks like a traditional cone of silence, but maybe not artfully written. So I asked Vivian if there had been board policy on this, and she provided me with minutes from a meeting in 2011. Some of you were on the board at that time, and I believe at that time the then mayor was seeking to remove a cone of silence with the expressed reason that he wanted to be able to talk one-on-one with the presenters before the presentation so they could answer questions. The debate ended up in a motion to maintain a cone of silence. So with that history and with the usual reasons for a cone of silence, my view was that it was probably intended to be the traditional cone of silence. But then again, the language could lead one to believe that it wasn't. So at that point, the question is, what do we do to minimize risk of litigation, but also to make sure that the proposal moved forward? My original recommendation was there are basically three things you could do. You could disqualify the one proposer for having violated the cone of silence. I didn't feel that that was a fair result, and given the fact that board members themselves believed that the cone of silence did not extend to this point. A second option would be to reject all of the proposals and put it out again, which you always retain the right to do. And the third was to make a determination, perhaps tonight, that the cone of silence would not be in effect for the process as you move forward, and open it up to the other proposer to also have one-on-one meetings with board members if that's what you chose. In the meantime, and quite frankly, at that point, my feeling was the safest route would be to reject them and put it out again, although I think it would be defensible if you opened it up to contact to the other proposer as well. In the meantime, today I received from Vivian a copy of a letter from Brian Hinners, CEO of Florida Affordable Housing, Inc., who I believe is a representative of the proposer who has not spoken to any of the board members. I think you've all gotten a copy of the letter, and basically what Mr. Hinners has said is that his group would prefer to move forward, and he has waived any complaints or any protests that they might have on the basis of a possible violation of the provisions of the RFP. That does give the board additional protection, and it does, I think, give you more flexibility. So depending on what you choose to do, you still can reject both proposals. At this point, you have not received any information from staff from their review or any recommendations or rankings, and to the best of my knowledge, nobody knows what those recommendations would be. You could reject and put the RFP out again. If you wish to move forward, I think that you have a better capability of doing that now without running afoul of anybody's rights. You could set this down for decision next month at your next meeting. In the meantime, the staff review will be made public, will be made known. I do believe if you do that, you should open up the opportunity to the proposers, both proposers, to meet with you one-on-one. Now, keep in mind, that doesn't mean you have to. You always retain the right not to speak to anybody or to speak to just somebody. That's your individual determination. But in essence, what you would be doing is removing the cone of silence from this particular proposal. In the meantime, we'll be revising the RFP to make it much clearer. I think that it would be a good idea to have Mr. Hinners or any other representative who may be here on behalf of that proposer to confirm again what is in the letter.
Right.
You may want to hear from each of the proposers. If you do, I would caution there should not be any discussion about the substance of the proposals in this public meeting, because it was not agended for this purpose. It was agended for the purpose of you deciding which way to go procedurally. But I feel much more comfortable at this point in indicating that I could recommend, if you choose to go forward, that you can go forward under the criteria I've just laid out.
Okay. Then at this time, I would like, well, wait a minute before we discuss it. Let me. Is anybody here from the Florida Affordable Housing, Inc.? If you'd like to come forward, we'd like to hear on the record. We've got this letter saying that you don't have a problem with us moving forward. We'd like to hear that. You say that in person.
Thank you, board members. My name is Mac Bernard with Florida Affordable Housing, Inc. The address is 777 East Atlantic Avenue, unit number 200, Delray Beach, Florida 33483. And yes, we did submit the letter yesterday, and that we don't have a problem with moving forward. We believe that it is important for the folks that lives in the heart of Boynton Beach for us to move as quickly and as expeditiously as possible. And so we do have a couple recommendations that we would like to present to the board. First of all, we do want to keep the process going. Second is, we believe that since there's only 2 people who submitted for this RFP, we don't believe that there should be a ranking committee. We believe that both proposers should be able to present to the CRA board and for the board to make a decision, because we don't believe that there's a need for the ranking committee. Third, we believe that that you should have a special meeting. We would propose to do a special meeting within 2 weeks because of the fact that timing for us is really important in terms of our project. We've applied. I don't know if this is. Palm Beach County has submitted its RFP for home dollars. They submitted the RFP on August 3rd, and in our proposal, we were going to apply for home dollars, and they have a pre-conference meeting this Friday, and the RFP is due September 3rd. So that would impact our project if we made a decision afterwards. Also, sale dollars, the state of Florida is issuing an RFP on August 22nd for sale dollars. And in our proposal, we were going to apply for sale dollars, and that RFP is due September 19th. As Auburn, who didn't do anything wrong, we didn't communicate with anyone. We believe that we shouldn't be punished by missing some of these deadlines that were in our project.
Okay, let me just ask you this then. You gave us two things that you'd like to have. One would be not to have a rating committee, and the other one is that we have a special meeting within 2 weeks. If we cannot do either one of those things, are you still okay with what you're saying in this letter? That you're
Yes,
not
we're still okay.
You're still okay with that?
Yeah,
I
we're
mean,
still okay.
I'm
with
not saying we're not going to do it. I just want to know if that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
About
Mr.
neighborhood? Oh, go ahead.
Excuse me, before you leave, did you mention Auburn in your comments just then? You said, are you with
Florida
Auburn?
Affordable Housing, Inc. and Auburn are, yes.
I need to hear Auburn, all
Their
right.
combination, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Neighborhood Renaissance, do you have someone here that wants to say anything or not? You don't have to, but if you want to, you can.
Mr. Chairman, as he's coming up, I would point out that the RFP specifically contemplates presentations by each of the proposers to the board.
Okay.
Hello.
Good evening.
I'm Michael Picar with Neighborhood Renaissance. We're located at 510 24th Street in West Palm Beach. We will go along with what I think is proposed to have a special meeting in 2 weeks. We don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, now I'm going to come back to the board, and we'll start with,
Ken, I have a question. Are you suggesting, and if you're not suggesting, can we put it on a meeting to pull back the code of silence? You said this was created, I believe, in 2011. I wasn't on the commission then. I would like this to be part of a discussion so we don't have the code of silence.
we can bring that up in another meeting.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
That would
we
be
can
another-
talk about
I'd
that.
like
That'd
to
be
do
another
that.
issue.
Okay.
Yeah. Commissioner McCray.
Thank you. Ken, my whole take is that if we go ahead and table this matter, what about the Inspector General? Have you all contacted them about what we have done? Because they came to us about something we did within the city as commissioners, and they said that the Inspector General, now, with this here, will we have problems with the Inspector General?
I always hesitate to say no, but I don't see why there would be a major difficulty. I would say that an Inspector General most likely would take the position that it is better to have a cone of silence in a process like this. But that is not, it's not an ethics issue. It's not a legal issue. It's a policy issue of the board. You have the right here to waive, the RFP gives you the right to waive certain criteria. And while this may not be considered a non-substantial criterion, in the circumstances, the right to waive, I think, would be appropriate. What we need to remember, all of the rules that are set out in the RFP, none of them are meant to be gotcha rules, that if the moment you violate something, gotcha, you're out. What they're intended to do is to make sure that it's an even playing field and that nobody is given an unfair advantage over anybody else.
If this will help you, I saw where the Attorney General said that this didn't come under their jurisdiction of anything. They turned it over to the County Ethics Committee, and we haven't heard anything from the County Ethics Committee.
Thank you.
Mr.
That's
Murphy.
all I need to hear.
Question.
Chair.
Yes.
When
What's
Go
wrong
ahead.
with these microphones tonight?
You got a problem here.
whomever put forth a statement or question what was to the Inspector General, is there a way we find out in time who the person is or company is?
I'm sure you can find out, but I don't really care at this point.
Well, I'm asking the question. I do care.
If they don't find a likelihood of wrongdoing, then you probably won't ever find.
But
Find
wait a
out.
minute. My understanding is with the Inspector General, does this coincide with the Board of Ethics? Because the Board of Ethics may not come out with an open statement publicly, but it's in their records which can be retrieved.
That I'm not sure of.
Like to know, please?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Board Member Hay.
This is my position on this whole matter. Boynton Beach East will be a big booster for the heart of Boynton area. And it is my belief that the cone of silence should only be used when necessary. Because I'd like to talk to the developers before we have to vote on them. But I understand that there comes a time that it may be necessary to have the cone of silence. That's why we have legal. But it does concern me that we are considering, maybe just considering delaying this project over some wording that does not exist on page 6 of the RFP. If we go back to an RFP process, it's my feeling that we're going to have the same two developers to apply again. Nobody knew it was going to show up. And so we finally have two good developers in Auburn and neighborhood resident Renaissance who are interested in putting something very nice on that land that has been sitting for a long time in District 2. Now, as one of the vendors just stated, they would be negatively impacted if we were to start over. So this whole issue, and as the way I view it, is a hiccup in the process that we implemented. So I see it as, let's not be careful, let's not make a mountain out of a molehill. We, as the CRA board, we are what we call an autonomous body, which means we make the rules and we obey our rules. I see it as an error on all of our parts. An error with Vivian, our executive director. She didn't emphasize it because she didn't feel it was necessary or whatever the reason. I think it was an error on Ken's part because he didn't demand it to us. I think it was an error on our part as board members because we voted for it. But it's not a showstopper. And the perception in the community, perception is 99% of the game, in my opinion. And there are many in the community who see this as another tactful way to delay a major project in the heart of Boynton area. Now, even though we know that's not the case, but perception. So as I look at Hudson Holding or Auburn, they've written a letter that they're not complaining and they won't complain even after the project is awarded. And I don't believe Neighborhood Renaissance is going to be complaining about it either. So why are we self-inflicting ourselves? I just think we ought to just chalk it up as a learning experience and move forward. So I would like to recommend that we let this project proceed as it is. and any change in the wording should be made for the next project, if needed. And I'm ready, that's my position on this whole thing.
Okay, well, let me just jump in there on that, follow up on what you're saying, because I think it's down the same line. I came here tonight fully intending to start over, throwing everything out and going back RFP, but this letter has addressed my concerns, and I don't feel, I have no concern anymore about the legality of it. So I think I would agree with you that this really puts to bed for me to rest, so I'm willing to move forward. Board Member Casello.
To the lawyer, Ken, this supposedly got into the IG's office, the ethics. If they come back and decide, yes, you broke your own rules, you didn't follow your own rules, what's the ramifications of something of that?
Do a report.
Doing a report?
The
What
IG
is that?
has no enforcement
So just
powers.
So it's a slap in the hands.
They would do a report explaining what you did that it views as not being financially effective or efficient, and recommend to you what they think you ought to do in the future.
Do we have anything in our RFPs that precludes anybody from submitting an RFP if they've been involved in a lawsuit or litigation?
Well, different RFPs have different requirements. If you recall, in the West case, that was a big issue. Here, I don't think that was.
But you don't, I mean, that's what we know, as it's been brought out in the press, that the Neighborhood Renaissance has been involved in some legal issues with West Palm Beach and during foreclosures, 2004, 2005. If that's the case, does that eliminate them from actually putting an RFP in?
No, not
Okay,
under the
that's-
criteria
okay,
of your
great.
RFP.
All right, now, here's the crux of my argument. Going back to the West mess that we had down there, you were not ordered, but you were directed to go through our RFPs that, would you say, artfully written RFPs, to put wording in there so this does not happen. This is the second time in a short period of time, due to artfully written RFPs, we've gotten ourselves in this quagmire. And it's unacceptable. And I blame our director and I blame you. That's two strikes on this. We're trying to promote the city of Boynton Beach here. And we cannot keep stumbling over our own RFPs because of artfully written RFPs are weak in wording. We've got to come out strong, be strong, when we make those decisions. We can't have these but these developers come in here and ask for extensions and legal opinions and all. We've got to be crystal clear on our direction. And I find this unacceptable, and I tell you, somebody's going to have to answer for this the next time this happens. Thank you.
Well, I take my blame, I blame myself because I literally read the black and white, and as Ken said, the purpose, I didn't take into account the purpose there. And so there was not a caption on that particular paragraph that said cone of silence. And so that I blame myself, and so I just took the literal language and read it, and so I misdirected you, and I blame myself for that.
Well, and Commissioner, while we didn't write it, we did review it, and I'll take that responsibility.
Okay, while we're handing out responsibility, though, I would like to say that, the board is supposed to be knowledgeable also. And I think, we have new members and stuff, and sometimes it's the first time it's happened. I would suggest that in the near future here, very quick near future, we have a little, what do you want to say, an educational seminar or something to tell everybody what cone of silence is and how it works. I think it'd be beneficial to the board to going forward in the future.
We all dropped the ball.
Yeah, we'd profit from that. Yes.
Something. Commissioner Casello said something regarding lawsuits or funds that are owed, and he mentioned Renaissance. My homework says it's Auburn that has the issue dealing with owing the city of Delray money, not Renaissance. This is not the time to go into it now, but since you brought it up, I have statements from papers saying on March 27th and April 1st that the mistake was made. So Again, let's see what happens, but this is here. And I think, again, I'll bring up the issue I want to know, and I think we should talk about, is the code of silence good for us or not good for us?
You said we're going to bring that up.
Would you stop interrupting me? You don't interrupt anyone else but me. Okay? And therefore, I think it's that important that we do this. Yeah, it's really that simple. And since mistakes were made, let's make sure that these potential lawsuits, do they or do they not affect? And I think it's that important.
Well, for the second time, we agree with you about bringing it up.
Mr. Chair, just, Mr. Merker, Board Member Merker is correct, but also if he does a little homework on the articles that were written by the Palm Beach Post, he will also find Neighborhood Renaissance in 2004, 2005 did not come forward in paying off loans owed to the West Palm Beach. So
I didn't
that's the other thing.
dispute that. I just said that if you're going to say things, make sure it's a complete picture. Read the whole book, not
Mr.
one
Chairman.
chapter.
Well, the attorney already said it didn't
Mr.
matter,
Chairman.
so. go
Anybody
ahead.
could read one chapter.
Mr.
Yes,
Chairman.
Mr. Fitzpatrick, and then I'll come down here.
All right, one thing I would like to see if we, on this cone of silence thing, if possible, that it be this same policy as what the city's cone of silence is. My understanding, the city right now is you can talk to them as long as they're a registered lobbyist. So I really don't care what the decision of the board is. I would just prefer if they were both, unless there's a reason not to, the same, so that, because we're sitting on both boards, it'd be easier for me to remember. I don't know about the rest of you. And then maybe under disclosures, I should point out Citizen David Katz called me twice in two conversations, I'd say about 3 days apart, and 5 to 10 minutes. No face-to-face meeting, but like I said, it was a phone conversation. And it was seemed to be speaking in favor of Florida affordable housing. As far as Mr. Bernard's assertion that perhaps we should drop, that there's only two that should drop the ranking, I don't agree with that, because to me, the ranking is staff expertise, how they're using their expertise to rank it, things we may not know as board members. And so I believe the ranking committee is CRA staff and city planning and development staff. So, I mean, they're getting paid the money to be the experts, so I think they should, I'm in favor of keeping the ranking. And to me, that what's going on is something like a football game when you know, if you got a penalty in your favor, you can decline it if you want. So that's where I'm kind of viewing Florida affordable housing, is that if they wanted to throw it back out, they could. They don't want to because of time constraints, and that's perfectly acceptable. And I think that we should try to accommodate them and have a, because it normally would have been settled at this meeting, that I'm in favor of having a special meeting, you know, within a week or 2 weeks to get this so they can meet their time constraints.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, excuse me for interrupting, but something Mr. Fitzpatrick just said reminded me of something I should disclose as well. I did receive a voicemail message from Mr. Katz calling, indicating he had a question to ask. I emailed him back. I did not call him back. I emailed him back informing him that my policy when I represent a board like this is not to respond to inquiries from citizens or residents without the approval of the board. It's spending your money without control over it. And I got an email back from him. He said he perfectly understood that and accepted that. So,
Thank you. Mr. Beek, I'll come back to you.
Yeah, a couple of things. As far as disclosure, anything we had to disclose talking to citizens, I was called by David Katz also, who was merely trying to present arguments for not doing a new RFP. Felt it would be fairer for both sides to go forward, which I agree with that. I also agree with Board Member Fitzpatrick that we should not throw out any analysis done by staff, CRA staff or city staff, because that will help us make an informed decision. my last point is, even though we've received we've waived off the penalty, I still think that we need to have a level playing field, and I think that we should make it clear that both parties are free to contact the board members, and that we should move forward with this special meeting. I would have normally said table to the next CRA meeting, but since that seems to be a hardship for
It's a month away, yeah.
one, then we'd probably have a special meeting. I probably won't be able to be here for it, but I still think that is how you get a level playing field. Everybody, they get a chance to talk to everybody, even though they've said they don't have to, and that they'll waive that, but
Okay.
and go with it that way.
Board Member Cray? Yes.
Thank you. My concern is that I'm still in favor of, not throwing out the analysis, okay, and I'm in favor of moving forward, and I'm also in favor of, the harsh words that were said to our attorney and also to our director. We all learn, and for me, we all make mistakes. We're called humans. That's the main part I like to take. I'm also in favor of moving this project forward. I'm not in favor of going out meeting with anybody else. I'm just saying I'm just going to look for staff to give me some directions and move from there. That's my concern. Thank you.
Very good. Board Member Merker?
I also agree moving forward. The only question I would like to know is Mr. David Cass defined as a lobbyist. Is he getting paid for his inquiries? I find it interesting that I obviously didn't get a call from him, but his interest, he doesn't live in District 2, he lives in, I think, District 4. So I find it fascinating that his inquiry is to such a degree that he's so emphatic in saying what he thinks. I would question, just like we made a mistake, I would say to Mr. Katz, I think you should be careful also on your inquiries, because I don't want to see you get in trouble.
It sounds to me like consensus of the board here is that we go ahead and move forward, that we maintain the the committee thing where
Yes, committee
Yes.
ranking.
committee ranking.
ranking.
I think the consensus, we maintain committee, and we also try to do a special meeting within the next 2 weeks.
That would put it on the 26th, August 26th, if
Okay.
Is
that,
it Monday or Tuesday?
Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Yeah, okay.
If you want to keep it on a Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Not, you don't have to, but I'd have to
Please keep it
find
on
out
a
if the
Tuesday.
room
We
would
have
be
to.
available.
We can do it whenever we need to get everybody together.
Yeah,
get
I'll
a-
check to see if
get
the
a
room's
quorum
available.
here.
Okay.
And also, as what I'm understanding, the board would like to let both parties, if they want to, you can speak to them if you want to,
Thank you.
right? You don't have to, but if you want to, you can speak to them.
Is that a
Okay,
motion that
is
you're
there-
doing? 'Cause I'm
That's
gonna second
election
it.
day. Is that a problem for anyone?
I'm sorry.
That's election.
Do the two applicants have a problem with what we're saying here, other than I know we got to do the thing? Okay, they seem to, I don't hear anything, so if what I said will be a motion, or somebody want to make that
I'm gonna
motion?
Well, you can make the motion as the chair, and I'm going to second that motion.
I should have somebody else make the motion.
I'll make the motion that we move forward with the RFPs.
With the
With the
stipulations that I said.
Stipulations.
With your stipulations.
Of
Okay.
the analysis.
Is there a
and then-
second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Just real quick, Vivian, I think that it should be known that you were on the selection committee at one point, but you took yourself off.
Yes.
Okay, so you're not going to be part of the selection committee.
No,
And-
no.
And it was
I'm not.
years ago, but you
I
did
did-
have,
I
you
did
did have
work-
employment with Neighborhood
Yes,
Renaissance.
I did.
Okay, that's all
I was going to
disclosed now.
disclose that at the meeting when we actually had
Okay.
when we were actually going to
So that's
meet
out.
about
Okay.
this, not the
Okay.
procedure, but the actual meeting.
How many
Okay.
years ago was it, Vivian? On the rec-
2005, I left employment there.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Show the motion is unanimous. Thank you.
So do we pick a
What's the
date
date?
now?
So
Um,
tentatively
what
the
would be-
26.
26 tentatively?
Was that a?
Yeah, that's what was brought up.
I can't make it on the 26th.
Primaries.
Primaries.
Now, can we do it on Monday?
How about on the 28th? How about Thursday, the 28th?
Can't make it
Well,
on
we just
Thursday, I
check
can do it
in.
on that Monday.
I don't know.
I'm, forgot what day I'm leaving town, the last day of the month. What day are we going to Georgia? I think the 27th.
Mrs. Mayor?
Yeah. I'm leaving town.
Dee, when are you leaving?
Let me see if I could tell you here in a minute, I think.
Monday's not good? How is Monday for you?
Monday's
No.
good for me.
But I won't tell me.
Not good for me.
Monday?
It's my second class.
I have to
Can't
report.
skip? Can't skip?
Let's don't have it if you have a conflict. Let's pick another day.
The mayor's leaving.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Mayor's.
Oh, no.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is bad for me. I'm just one vote though, but it's my district.
And I have to check that with you, Vivi, I don't know.
We have to go, a whole 2 weeks, can we go next week?
Can we make it
Sure.
next week?
I can go
Make it next week?
Tuesday. But Tuesday we have commission meeting.
How about,
Yeah.
talking about the 18th?
Can we go that Monday?
18th is a Monday.
Yeah, let's go that Monday.
I'm open
6:30.
Monday. I'm open.
I'm open.
I'm open.
I won't be here on Monday.
Is that all right with you?
I'll leave class early.
6:30.
Okay, it's fine.
Consensus. Okay.
And I'm not
Tuesday?
sure.
How about the proposing teams?
3, 4. We got
Majority.
5 that can make it,
Okay.
two maybes or
Okay.
one
What day are we
maybe.
talking about?
Monday.
Monday, the
I
18th?
can't make it on Monday.
Coming Monday.
At 6:30. Okay.
As an alternate, well, Tuesday's commission. What
How
if,
about before the commission meeting?
what about before commission?
Board of Commission meeting on Tuesday?
What if we did that?
That would work for me.
That works.
What
That
if
will
we
work
did
for
it
me.
like
How
at,
long do we need? About an hour?
I think if we did it like at 5, if-
5?
would that work for everybody?
Hour and a half.
Yeah, 5.
That'll give us
Are
5
you
o'clock on
providing-
Tuesday.
That's fine.
Are you providing
That works.
hoagies?
Okay.
Those were
Okay,
good.
5 o'clock Tuesday, the
Let's do
What-
that.
What is that, the 19th?
19th?
19th.
The 19th.
5 o'clock Tuesday, the 19th.
Okay.
Special meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay, very good. Okay. I gotta see what I did with my agenda. I lost everything here. Here we go.
5
I'm
o'clock.
back.
We will be sending notices out to you via email, and the backup will be coming to you via jump drive, via email, and hard copy for those of you who want it. It is very copious document, so it's going to come soon. It's going to come very quickly because it's only a week away. It's very quick.
Is that gonna be enough time for public notice?
Yeah, public
All right,
notice is
that's
only
all I
3
need
days.
to know. We're good to
Yep,
go. Let's
we're
go.
good to go.
Okay. Next item, presentation on business development advertising campaign. I don't know if we can do that.
We can't do the presentation. Oh darn,
Okay,
you're saying
so
to
We'll
yourself.
have to take that at the next meeting. Want to table that to the next meeting?
We'll table
So
that to the
moved.
next meeting.
I have a motion on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Show the motion unanimous. Okay. New business, consideration of safety assessment services proposed and contract for Ken Stapleton and Associates for safety assessment services in the amount of $19,000.
This was
tabled.
Motion to remove from the table.
Have motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Show the motion
You
unanimous.
directed me to get some proposals from him, or some reports from him that he'd done in the past. I sent him an email, and I copied you on the email. He responded to me, and he said, oh, he didn't have any of those. He wasn't going to provide any of those, and I think that in and of itself is an answer. His response is an answer. So that will be, I think, our answer to.
Was there,
I would
does the board have a
recommend.
motion here?
No.
A motion by the board on this?
I'll make a motion, we decline his offer, or whatever. however you
Second.
wanna-
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, show the motion is unanimous. Consideration of purchase agreement between CRA and Nathaniel Robinson for property located at 517 Northeast First Street in the amount of $74,000 purchase price and $15,000 relocation assistance.
This is a single-family home that is owner-occupied. We have not purchased an owner-occupied home in quite a while. Mr. or Reverend Robinson's lived there a long time. He is elderly. I hope that doesn't offend anybody. The home is in very...
That's me.
I'm getting there myself. He the home is in very poor repair. From the front, it looks good, but around back, it's starting to rot. He does need to move to another home and then find another place, and that's why we did relocation for him. We are also allowing him to live in the home for another 90 days so he can find another place. So that's the details on that.
What's the appraised value on the home?
62.
62.
Okay.
62.
Commissioner Casella.
Just a quick question. The relocation assistance, do we have a dollar value on that? Is this like the first time this has been used? Or
Nope.
Is that something that we've
We
done in
did
the
that
past?
for Mrs. Jones, for the little house, which is now the little house. We did that for her as well.
What's the maximum number that we relocate? We couldn't relocate somebody to California.
We don't typically do that. They relocate locally. She located to Leisureville. Basically, it's to help them
I understand
put a
what
down
it's up.
payment.
I'm
and-
just wondering if there's like a dollar figure we set on that.
We looked back at hers and it was just 15,000. That was a number of years
So we're
ago.
using that as like a benchmark?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Motion to approve.
I have a question. Oh, I'll go ahead and take a motion. Is there a motion?
Second.
And a second on discussion. Do we know where he's relocating to?
No, I talked to him today, and I'm told him to get a realtor, and help him find. He said he's having a hard time because of the pricing, and I said get a realtor. I'm trying to help
I
him.
guess my thought process here is we're giving him $12,000 over assessed value. I think it was assessed 62. We're paying 674, and now we're throwing another 15,000 on relocation. I think that's a lot of money to relocate, especially if you're going to relocate locally. I think I could move from my house to another house for $5,000 easy. Probably that's a lot of money, unless you're trying to pay something else for him, like helping him buy a new house.
He has tax liens also. The house is almost ready to go into tax sale. So, well, they sell it on the courthouse steps. So that's another issue. It would, in other words, this house would go and be sold to an investor on the courthouse steps. That's another issue. That
He'd be put out without
I
nothing
didn't
then.
really want to say that publicly, but
When he'd be put out without anything, right?
right. And so there is that issue that has to be paid off. So he's not going to have, that's money he's not going to get. He needs to find a home in house. I don't know if you saw the paper today. The housing prices are quite high. Even in Leisureville, I told him look there, and he's not going to get a lot of cash out of this house. So there's not going to be a lot of cash.
Mr. Robinson, Reverend Robinson, he has been a member of this community for many years. I'm just saying he has put his time in, and I'm just saying, although we're saying it seems like we're giving him something, we're really not giving him something. I'm just saying it's like in good faith saying, sir, we wish you the best. I'm just saying, as a citizen and as a community, we don't want to go away with the dark eye. We're just saying, sir, we wish you the best. We're trying to help you. And we give him like 90 days. And I'm saying, if the 90 days don't work, we can give him like another 180 days. I'm just saying, just to be on the safe side, to help the guy out. I'm just saying, it's a hardship.
He's not going to be able to move himself. He's going to have to hire a moving company. He's
Okay,
Mr.
well, I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
I
One-
just like to,
Commissioner Casella. Board Member
I'd say
Casella.
one of the things is that we certainly don't want to let it go to a tax sale where we could end up
Right.
with one more bad owner in Boynton Beach, one more person sitting on property not doing anything with it. So I think that should also be a consideration that's moving forward.
I would like to change that 15,000 up to 15,000, not just give him a lump sum of 15. If it costs him, like the mayor alluded to, if it costs him 5,000 to move across town, we give him the 5,000. We'll give him up
well,
to
it's
15,000.
the hooking up the phone, hooking up relocation, and if you
Or whatever that includes,
Yeah.
but I'm saying.
if you
up
want to
to-
do it like for
up-
reimbursable or something like
up to-
that.
Right, show us the bills and we'll reimburse you up to 15,000.
If you want to make that motion.
I'm not in favor of that. If we did it for Mrs. Jones, I'm just saying, if we did it for one, we already set precedents. I'm just saying that this is something that you should have thought about before we did this. I wasn't up here then.
Either.
And that's something we do need to talk about. I would not
Well,
support that either.
we cannot, my heart goes out to these individuals, but we can't take every hardship case that comes in before us and say, look, we're sorry you're down on your luck. here's the money.
We can say
can't
up
do
to
that.
and
I can
say-
say up to 15,000. If it only costs them 5,000 to move, then that's what we give the
Right.
gentleman.
Well, does that also include down payment on a place or whatever? And what all does that 15,000 relocation include?
That would include relocation. That would include like moving fees. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
the
thinking.
cost to move.
Hooking up the cable, phone,
Yeah,
stuff
you're
like that.
getting all your
Right.
electric hookup, your
Right,
water
yeah.
hookup, all the things you
I-
have to do to
I
move.
have no problem with that.
If,
Right.
if it's rental, does that include first, last, and month if it's
Right, exactly.
determined?
Yeah, first, last,
And so if
security.
it's a purchase, does that
Yeah.
include down payment?
When we actually did relocation under prior, when we had a private company doing these things, we paid a ton of money for relocation. We paid everything. It was crazy what we paid. So we paid a lot more in relocation than under HUD guidelines. We were following HUD guidelines then. So you can say up to, and I'd be happy to have him.
Well,
If the
I have-
motion says 15,000, that's what I wanted to
The
say.
motion was to purchase it for 74,000 and authorize 15,000 in relocation. There was a second. Is there any other discussion or a new motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we change that 15,000 up to up to 15,000.
Is there a second to that motion? Hearing none, motion dies without a second. I'll call the first motion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Show the motion passes 6-1. Okay, this goes to Executive Director's report.
Unfortunately, we couldn't get the new businesses in the CRA. They changed some staff people over in that department, so we couldn't get that update. And we have our,
Property acquisition report.
Acquisition.
There's a list in here.
yeah, you have
Any
the list.
questions?
So that's in there if you have any questions. And my development projects
Development
update.
project update. Any questions on that?
Casa del Mar is submitting, they submitted their plans this week. That's the project on the north end of the CRA, at the very northern end, next to the peninsula. That's coming in. I do have your packets for the Ocean Breeze East. I had them prepared. They were in Mike's car, so before you leave, pick them up from Mike. They're hard copies, right in the back. So take them with you. They're hard copies. It'll probably be easier for you to read than try to read it on the computer. So I didn't know you were going to want it in a week. That's
That's
but
all right.
I had it ready. So
Any other items come before the board?
Yeah, I'd like to make a
Go ahead.
the one thing I brought up was I would like to see the two, cone of silences for both entities being similar. And so I would like, if we can direct staff to work with the city to,
Yeah,
touch
bring that
base on
back to
that.
us too. Yeah.
And then secondly, I didn't support Mr. Casella on this because I just feel bad about changing something midstream. But I think is there a policy? I'd like to know if there's a policy on how we make bids and if to review that maybe so it might say up to 15,000 in future bids.
I think something we should discuss and make a decision on. I just didn't want to do it, like you say, in the middle of this one. I understand what Mr. Casella was saying because I kind of brought it up first,
I do
but
too.
I'd like to discuss that in the future
Yeah, I agree with that
Okay.
100%.
and get
In
a
the
policy
future,
on that.
yes.
Okay.
All agree.
Yeah.
Stand adjourned.